Okay, so we are getting into our groups. We are going to socialize. I believe in this a lot. So I'm going to break us into just 2 groups today. I have 9 people on the call. So I'm going to break us into 2 groups, and you just engage people in the group, share ideas, get to know someone, let someone get to know you, and then so we are just going to do this. Most of the time people complain the breakout groups are very short. So we are going to do this for 5 minutes, for 5 minutes to get to know someone, tell them about yourself. So when you get into a breakout group, please, one person should take up the leadership role and say that, hey, my name is this, and I'm happy to see you on this call. I'm from here. This is what I'm doing. Share something about yourself and ask the other group members to also share. You might not know who, you meet on the call and where that person can help you. You understand? So don't get onto the breakout groups and keep quiet. This is an opportunity for you to network. So we are going to do this right now. I'm going to break everyone into the breakout groups. Okay, so you see join on your screen. Kindly join in and, be in one of the breakout groups and then engage. Hi, everyone. How was the breakout group? Who would like to share an experience? Did you meet someone new today? Just 1 or 2 people, then we can get into today's session. I hope today's time was very enough. I get feedbacks that mostly the breakout groups, we don't have enough time. I hope today's one was very enough. Would anyone want to share? Are we there?
Yeah.
Okay.
My group, we have our Kenneth and Juliet, and they are wonderful people. But
Wow.
I think Juliet and Howard wants to give me 2,000 Ghana cedis each.
Wow.
I did it. Juliet and Howard, I will respond before Joshua endorses it too.
You want to give who 2,000 Ghana cedis?
They are into geometrical engineering also, so they are the Ghana kingpins.
Okay.
So as our president said, it is Castle brand. They are the people controlling the Sika in Ghana.
Okay. Good. So you
met. I've gotten to know Juliet, Kenneth, and Howard, and they are nice people.
Wow, nice. Thanks for sharing. So you met you engineers or whatever.
Geometrical engineering people.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing. Any other person to share? Who did you meet? And was it the first time you are meeting them? One other person to share? Ooh, it looks like we are all quiet. I like it when we all you unmute yourself, you engage, you share, you say something. It makes everything fun. It makes, everything interesting. You share, it's exciting to get to know your perspective too. So I want one more person to share. Did you meet someone new? And how was it? Who would like to share? Ooh. Looks like no one is willing to share. So, Doreen. Okay, Juliet, yeah.
Okay, so Kenneth wants me to share. I was also in the same group with Kenneth, Charles, and Howard.
Okay.
Yeah. And initially, Kenneth, I know Kenneth, but he doesn't remember me.
Okay.
But not person didn't I dream for home. Oh, I know you, but I realized he didn't know me. He didn't remember me.
Okay.
And Charles was listening to our conversation, our catching up.
Okay.
Yeah, that was when Hawa also came in and they decided to pay so that
Okay.
me and Kenneth will have our own conversation.
Sure.
But they are fun people. It was nice
Okay.
meeting them.
Okay, great. So thanks so much for sharing, Juliet. That is interesting. Okay, so guys, thank you all for sharing, and I believe that some of this, conversation shouldn't end here. As I mentioned from day one, if it was an in-person training, you get to meet the people in person, you get to take contact, you get to exchange contact, you get to, take if they have business cards and all that. Then we can do same on the call, like when we go into the breakout groups, you can say, okay, kindly put your contact in the chat, we can reach out, maybe we can do some business together, because this is where it all starts. We can do some business together, we can do something together, and who knows, So most of the times when you get into these groups, you take advantage of it and you make sure that you are really profiting from the socialization. Thank you all. So we are getting into our business for today. So today we'll be looking at what leadership is, what is self-leadership, things you need to understand about yourself, and then the Johari window. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, and then how to lead yourself. So today we are talking about our topic as self-leadership. There are various types of leadership. We have servant leadership, steward leadership, transformational leadership, situational leadership, transactional leadership. There are a lot of leadership concepts and models, but every leadership concept and model has its own role or purpose, and I believe that in this session, I don't know if there are people on here who kind of like have are leading a group, maybe at work, maybe you're a team leader, you're a supervisor, you are, let's say, a manager, maybe a church, but I believe that most people on the call, based on the criteria that, we put, are people that, are in the early stages of their career, trying to, like someone in the final year, someone doing national service, someone who has 1 to 3 years of experience, and so you are trying to build yourself to become, a team leader, supervisor, a manager. And, the core of all this is that you being able to lead yourself, self-leadership. So we'll be touching on self-leadership and subsequent, soft skills academy going into next year. Every month, at least we'll have 2 sessions. It won't be 3 like this month. Every month we'll have like 2 sessions. We might touch on different, aspects of leadership. We might touch on different aspects of soft skills. We might repeat some of them, like we might do problem solving again. We might do negotiations again. We might do, self-leadership again, but we might also do other things like empathy, time management, and all that, so I believe that, touching on self-leadership in this, session will be critical and key for all of us. So let's look at our learning objectives. At the end of the training, participants will be able to define what self-leadership is, understand how they will be able to identify their purpose and understand how they can develop a vision statement and then be able to identify themselves. This is interesting. A lot of people don't even know themselves. A lot of people don't even know who they are. And if you don't know who you are, how would you be able to lead yourself? How would you be able to lead other people? It is you just, as the Bible says that if a blind man leads another person or another blind man, they all fall into a ditch. Do you understand? So you need to first identify yourself, get to know yourself, develop yourself, then you'll be able to lead others. So it's going to be very interesting and fun. And I encourage all of you to really participate, to share, voice out. If you think you agree with something, you disagree with something, you are seeing something from a different perspective, share for all of us to learn from you. So Aristotle says that knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. How many of us agree and how many of us disagree? So if you agree, you can unmute yourself and say, I agree. Then you share why you agree. If you disagree too, you can unmute yourself and, say, I disagree with what Aristotle is saying, and this is why I disagree with him. Who would like to start? Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. What do you think?
Yeah. As a Christian, I think I disagree because what I know is
Okay.
the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom.
Okay. That is an interesting perspective. Yeah. So Kenneth says that as a Christian, the beginning of wisdom is fearing God and not knowing yourself. So yeah, thanks for sharing. Who else want to share? Whether you agree or disagree. This is what Aristotle has said. What do you think about it? Anyone? Yeah.
I will agree with. I'm a Christian though,
Okay.
but I will agree with him to some extent
Okay.
because truthfully, if you study the Bible holistically, you see that all these quotes and phrases and all those popular theologians and philosophers, yeah, their knowledge some way is just an aspect of the holistic knowledge of God expressed in the Bible. So this some of these statements, if you should get scriptural references to amplify it, you understand why he reasoned so much and came up with such a statement. Because if God is creator, then all summation of knowledge and wisdom should come from him. So these people are just expressing part of it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very, very much for sharing. So yeah, we've gotten two people sharing that, hey, one person says I disagree. The other person says to an extent I agree and to an extent I disagree. But Aristotle said this because he believes that, to know yourself is great gain. Do you understand? When you buy a product and you don't know much about the product. Let me take a typical example of our mobile phone. There are a lot of things a mobile phone can do. But if you don't know, all the stuff that a mobile phone can do, you don't know a lot of it, then it means that you might not even really utilize, the mobile phone well. So if you don't know yourself, you might not even utilize what you have or who you are. Do you understand? So people might even take you for granted because you yourself personally don't know yourself. So he is saying that to know yourself as wisdom, to know yourself is key, to know yourself as important. And I believe that this falls within what we are going to do today when it comes to self-leadership, because it starts from there. It starts from knowing yourself, then you'll be able to lead yourself. And then if you're able to lead yourself, you'll be able to lead others. Let's look at the next quote. All human beings are self-leaders. However, not all self-leaders are effective at self-leading. What do you think? All human beings are self-leaders. However, not all self-leaders are effective at self-leading. What do you think about this quote? What do you think? Who would like to share? Anyone can unmute himself or herself and share. There is no wrong or right answers. You feel free, you share what is on your mind. You share what you think. What do you think? All human beings are self-leaders. However, not all self-leaders are effective at self-leading. Do you agree or do you disagree? Yeah, Kenneth.
Please, before we could even do anything about, can we know what self-leading is or who a self-leader is?
Yes, we'll get into it.
Yes, I wanted to know before I can do anything about what's on the table.
Okay, we'll talk about self-leadership, but holistically, self-leadership is about being able to lead yourself. Let me put it that way. So in this context, he's saying that all human beings are self-leaders because you're an individual that you can lead yourself. But however, a lot of people are not able to lead themselves. Do you get it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Mens is saying that every human being is a self-leader. Like, we always see that, John Maxwell says that if you're a leader and you don't have followers, then you're not a leader. There are a lot of definitions, a lot of perspectives about leadership, but also you don't just lead other people, but you also lead yourself. Do you understand? And so if you are not able, and everyone is a leader, when it comes to self-leadership, everyone, you have yourself to lead. You might not be leading other people, but you have to lead yourself. And I believe that when we go through this session, it will come back and explain this very well. But most people are not able to effectively lead themselves. Most people are not able to effectively push themselves to where they are supposed to be. So, someone will say, what is leadership then? We are talking about self-leadership, but let's start from the broader angle. What is leadership? Who would like to share? What is leadership? Let's start from there. What is leadership? Can anyone share anything? It can be one word, it can be two words, it can be a sentence, it can be a phrase. What is leadership? Anyone to share? Anyone? What is leadership? Yeah.
I believe leadership mainly involves guiding a group of people to meet an objective.
Okay, great. Guiding a group of people to meet an objective. Thank you for sharing, Kenneth. Thank you so much. Damson, please share.
Hey, sorry, I just joined, so kindly give me some minutes so that I can
Okay,
follow what you started.
Sure. Your mic was unmuted, so I thought you wanted to say something. Anyway, okay. So please, any other person? I think someone else unmuted, but they vanished. So any other person to share? What is leadership? It can be a phrase, it can be a sentence, it can be a word, it can be, just say what comes to mind when you hear leadership. What comes to mind? Kenneth says that it's guiding a group towards, meeting an objective. Okay, Juliet.
Okay, a word that comes to mind is responsibility.
Responsibility, great.
Yeah, being responsible for your actions, then being responsible for the actions of other people, since they will be reporting to you. So
Okay.
whatever they do or whatever will happen to them, you will be tasked to answer.
Okay.
So it is on you to make sure that they do the right thing to achieve whatever needs to be achieved.
Okay. So Juliet talks about responsibility, and also there's something to be achieved. So you get a team to achieve whatever is supposed to be achieved. Okay, lady, would you want to share? Is it Lady Dinah? You've also unmuted. Okay, she's unmuted. Okay, great. So we've had two people sharing. Okay, lady, you want to share? Okay. I think she's unmuted. So please, if you don't want to share, you can just mute yourself so as the noise from your background won't interfere in what we're doing. Thank you very much. So yeah, so we have guiding a group to meet an objective, and then being responsible. And I believe that whatever you guys shared truly is true, is on point. It might not be holistically, the case, but at least you've talked about some bits of leadership. And there are a lot of, definitions, a lot of explanations. People have different, definitions when it comes to leadership. But let's look at one. I have this like in simple language, that leadership is influencing a team, not a group, a team to achieve a shared goal. In simple terms, leadership is influencing a team to achieve a shared goal. So you are able to influence, a group, you're able to influence a team. So when we talk about influence, it's not like you are forcing the people to do it. Do you understand? But you are able to sell a vision. You're able to rally them behind a shared goal. And they get interested and excited to achieve that goal. So, when we talk about leadership, there is always that place of vision, that there is something that has to be done. Something has to be accomplished, something has to be, achieved. And then there is some level of influence, influencing a group of people to achieve that thing. Some people believe that you have to use coercive, power, a whole lot of different types of powers, but the most important thing is that something has to be done. And then when it comes to leadership, you get people to do it. This might not be a holistic, because as I mentioned, they are different, like responsibility, so we can say that, the leader is responsible for making sure that the shared goal is achieved. And so he will have to influence people to achieve the shared goal. So this is leadership. There might be other definitions, and there might be other things people have said about leadership. But in short, or in brief, this is how I also define leadership. So if we talk about pushing or influencing a team, or a team to achieve a shared goal, then what is self-leadership? Self-leadership too comes back to the same thing, but in this case, you are not influencing a team, but you are rather influencing yourself, your members, your spirit, soul, body, everything about you, influencing yourself to achieve a shared goal or a personal goal. So when we talk about, self-leadership, I took this definition from positivepsychology.com. So you can see that I've, reference them down there as a source. It says that self-leadership is the practice of understanding who you are. That is where it starts. So you remember what, Aristotle mentioned, that, wisdom, the beginning of wisdom is getting to know yourself. Self-leadership is the practice of understanding who you are and identifying your desired experiences and intentionally guiding yourself towards them. Expands the determination of what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. So to be effective as a leader, so when you read a lot of leadership models, most people say that to even be effective as a leader, to lead others, you should be able to lead yourself. And we are saying that if you will be able to lead yourself, then it starts with identifying or understanding who you are. That is key. You get to understand who you are, you identify your desired experience, and then you intentionally, as we mentioned in the previous slides, that leadership is influencing a team to achieve the shared goal. So now, for self-leadership, there is a goal to be accomplished. So you intentionally guide yourself towards accomplishing that goal. And it spans between what you can do, how you do it, and why you do it. And so, talking about self-leadership, there are some things you need to know about yourself. There are some things you need to know about yourself. The first thing you need to know about yourself is your strength. You need to know, for you to be able to lead yourself. We'll be looking at how you'll be able to lead yourself. But these are some things you have to understand about yourself. Your strength. What are you good at? What comes easily to you? Some people, talking is their strength. They can talk easily in public, everywhere they can talk easily. But some people, it's their weakness. It will be difficult for them to talk when you put them in front of an audience. They will be mute. So you would have to identify things that you are able to do easily. There are some people, they can easily fix stuff. Easily. They can easily come up with, instant solutions to certain kinds of problem. So that is your strength. After talking about all this, I'll give you some minutes to, to write down. I'll give you some minutes, or let's even do it as we go. So strength. So now be thinking. So let's all take a pen and paper, and then let's be thinking. We have like, let's say 1 minute or 2 minutes. Think that, okay, what comes easily? Like, what can I do easily? Just feel free. Don't close your mind to, thinking hard. No. Some people can, their strength is cooking. Some people, their strength is making friends. They can easily make friends. So ask yourself, what comes easily? Like, what can I do with ease that I can just do it without even, struggling about? That is a strength. Most of the times we take for granted certain things about us. We think that, oh, this is so simple, this is so simple and all that. So I want you to take a pen and a paper, and I want you to write 2 things that comes easily. Like, you can do them easily. You don't struggle. 2 things. After, I'll ask you to share with me. So we have like 1 minute. Just, think about it. It shouldn't be difficult for you to come up with something, Some will be like, hey, I'm able to, to create, jokes easily. I'm able to do this easily. I'm able to do that easily. It doesn't come with pain. It doesn't come with struggle. It is very simple and easy. Okay, so who would like to share? Just one. Who would like to share? One strength that you think comes easily to you. One strength. Okay, Damson, yeah.
Easily to talk in public.
Okay, great. So that's a strength. That is a strength. And you see, most of the times, we don't get to identify these things, and so we take advantage of them. But that is a strength. If you're able to talk and, in public easily, you can even make money from this. So it means you can be looking at how I can become an MC, I can, okay, so what can I teach people? Okay, I can do this in public. Okay, because I can talk freely. Can I teach people even how to talk freely in public? Because there are people who struggle in that area. And this is a strength that can even be monetized. Thank you very much for sharing, Damson. Who else want to share? One strength that comes to you easily. Okay, so Rebecca says that I can teach easily. Okay, Charles, do you want to share?
Yeah, I found the gift of writing at a young age.
Okay.
So I think it's a strength which I need to monetize and develop.
Yeah. So writing comes to you easily. So it means that this is interesting. You can, you can even identify, some people in the corporate space and like, with your number of experience, I can even help you write a book. I can help you write this. I can help you write that, because so you'll be able to monetize your strength. You say, okay, maybe I should be able to help a business as you do, be able to help a business write, their profiles and all that. That is a strength. Who else would like to share? I think someone else unmuted. One strength that comes to you easily. Okay, let's move to the next one. Weakness. So weakness is one things that you struggle to do. So some people, their weakness is, waking up. It's a weakness. They sleep, and, for them to wake up, let's say early and get to work early is tough for them. Some people time management, especially, going for programs very late, going for meetings very late. Some people cannot, cannot talk in public. Some people cannot really write well. It is a weakness. And it is good if you are able to identify things that you struggle to do. Because if you're able to identify them, then you can find ways to mitigate it. Do you understand? You can find ways to mitigate it. So I don't know if anyone want to share. Sometimes we're excited to share our strength, but we tend to, get some way when it comes to talking about our weakness. I don't know if anyone want to share one weakness. It can be time, management, you're not able to meet deadlines. It's a weakness. You are not able to speak in public. It's a weakness. You are not able to, get to programs and meetings on time. It's a weakness. There are a lot of them. Who is willing to share just one weakness? Okay, I have something in the chat. I find it difficult to ask for help. Yes, that is a weakness. Okay, Juliet. Yeah.
Okay, mine is time management. For some reason, I tend to assume I can use 45 minutes or 30 minutes to prepare for maybe a class or a meeting. Then time and time again, I prove to myself I can't. But that's my struggle.
Wow. And it is good you've been able to identify this. Okay, I think, okay, she's unmuted. So it is good you've been able to identify this. Do you know why I'm saying this? If you get to identify your weakness, you are able to put in measures to mitigate this weakness. But we say that it is so painful if you don't know something and you also don't know you don't know. It's so painful. But it's more reasonable if you don't know something and then you don't know. At least that one you can ask for help. But if you don't know and you don't know you don't know, it is serious. So it is good that you know your weakness. So now the question will be, okay, so how do I change this? And some of these things are, are patterns. That's like their habits. So it won't take just overnight for you to change them. You have to be very conscious about it, that, okay, I'm going to do this differently. It will come with a lot of pain because, your whole system is not used to it. So you have to reorient yourself, you have to readjust yourself, to be able to position yourself in a way that, okay, now I think if 30 minutes is not helping, then let me increase it to 40 minutes. So you change it gradually. You don't say that, okay, I'm going to do 1 hour. 1 hour might not be possible for you, but you change gradually, maybe 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And by the time you realize, okay, you are preparing 1 hour before time. Okay, and then it's difficult for me to, ask for help. Yeah, there are people like that. And myself, I think, I have that weakness really, that sometimes asking for help from others is very tough and difficult, to ask people for help. So I understand it, but I'm working towards it. I'm working towards it. Time management. And then let's get to the other one that you need to understand about yourself. Temperament. I don't know if everyone on this call knows his or her temperament. Do we? How many of us know our temperament? Okay, how are? Hey, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. You know the temperament?
Mine is not about the temperament.
Okay,
it's about asking for the help.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think I'm facing that problem, but then it's not really that I can't help. I can't ask for the help, but then it's like sometimes the people you find yourself around, it makes you feel that way. For example, like you ask for some help and how you are treated and all that makes you are not even confident. You don't know the reactions that are going to come from them and all that. So I don't know whether it's a weakness or it's due to circumstances.
Yeah, I understand and I get you perfectly. Yeah, because when you ask for help and then the people are going to use it against you, the next time you feel very reluctant to go back to them and ask. So yeah, I get it. So when it comes to circumstances like that, then it might not necessarily be that you have that weakness. Some people, they even have good people around them, but even asking for help is very difficult. Some of them is because some people is based on a lot of things. They feel like, people might feel they are not, and they are inferior. Like the people have a lot of things going through their mind that has to do with them and not the person they're asking for help from. But if the people you ask for help from don't treat you well, as in they use it against you, then really that circumstance will create, an environment that people wouldn't be willing to really ask for help. Someone says that for me, talking to people and calling people is really a challenge for me. Wow. So are you saying that talking to people on a call or, because they're calling people, so it's like your friends, like they keep you and you don't keep your friends. So if they don't call you, you don't call them. Yeah, that's a weakness and you need to work on it. So you can start from text like WhatsApp, you check up on people through WhatsApp. Gradually, you can start with calls. Maybe you call, oh, I called to check up on you. I hope you are fine, all that. So yeah, so it's good, we are getting to identify our weaknesses. If you're able to identify, then you find ways to mitigate it, and then you'll be able to, effectively first lead yourself, then you'll be able to lead a team or a group of individuals. Temperament, I think now there are 5 or 6 of them. We used to know 4. The choleric, the male, the sanguine, and then the phleg. Now they said they have who other ones, but I think they all fall into this 4. And I don't know if we all know our temperament. If you know your temperament, type it in the chat. Are you a phleg? Are you a male? Are you a sanguine? Are you a choleric? If you know it, type it in the chat. If you know it, type it in the chat. If you know your temperament, or you can just unmute yourself and tell me. I'll be glad to hear some voices too. Yeah, so Damson says that I'm a choleric. Interesting, So cholerics are hot. Cholerics are hot. Yeah, they are very hot, They when a choleric wants you to get something done, like it has to be done. You don't have any excuse, Cholerics are mostly not very emotional. They put emotions away. So maybe let me explain them, and then I'm sure some people get to understand. So cholerics are people that, most of the time they say cholerics are leaders. Some people feel, so cholerics are people that, they are very hot, they have little emotions. Cholerics have little emotions and they always want to get a task done. And so if they have to step on your head to get the work done, they'll get it done. They don't care about how you feel, your emotions. So you probably might have a boss like that. And sometimes you are like, don't you feel like anything? Please, like, take your time and all that. You should feel for me. Sometimes you might be in pain and still they want you to get the work done. So choleric, are like task oriented. They have little room or no room for emotions. And then we have the male, the melancholy. They are very emotional, they are very, very emotional and they tend to think about things a lot. When you tell them something, they will brood over it, they'll think about it. If something gets to hurt them, they are very hurt, but they are also very organized. Males, they are very detailed. They are very organized, they are very detailed. So mostly we say that, accountants are like the best people to be accountants are male, because they are detailed. When something is on a table and it's not standing right, they will try to push it well. Like they want it to be be very focused and they want the thing to be positioned well, So you find people like that. They are always rearranging books. They always, that is a male. And then we have the flex. The flex are the I don't care people, country broke, country no broke, we dey inside. So, they anything goes, anything goes. They love peace, and so they like to really compromise, because for the sake of peace, they'll compromise. For the sake of peace, like Asumji, so Asumji Hene, so the flags are like open to everything, they care less about what is happening. Sometimes something can be falling and they just be looking at it and the thing will drop, they always want to be in their space. So that is, a flag. And then we have the sanguine. The sanguine is the loud one. They make friends easily, but after, they talk to you, they make places very lovely, so they're in a room, you find a sanguine going everywhere, talking to everybody, just moving around. And probably after the next 2 minutes, if you ask them even about so you meet them somewhere like, oh, we met at this place, they might not even remember you. But sanguines are lovely, So sanguines, most of the times, they said that they can't be accountants because they can't sit for long. Like they are always on the move. They want to be making new friends. They want to be engaging people. They like partying. Like they like noise, kind of like they like talking. The sanguine likes to talk, to converse with people. Like they love fun. So mostly they say that sanguines are good at marketing, because they are always talking. So yeah, so these are the temperaments. So I don't know if, as I was sharing, any of you got to identify where you belong. Yeah. They say that, cholerics lack sympathy. Yeah, because they have little emotions. That is what is assumed, that they have little emotions. So, but Dempsey says that he disagree. Interesting. Yeah, it might not be everybody. You can't only have one temperament. So you might meet a choleric with a secondary temperament as maybe a male. So that person might be a bit emotional or sympathetic, But if you meet a sanguine with a choleric with maybe being a sanguine, there might not be a lot of emotions there, there might not be, So yeah, so let's share. So based on all that I shared, where do you think you belong? Are you a choleric? Are you a sanguine? Are you a flag? Are you a male? Where do you belong? Share with me. So you can unmute yourself and, maybe what I was saying, it's one of them described you, So you might be like, yeah, I think this one is me, Who would like to share? Oh, no one? It looks like today I've been talking the whole time. Please, I want to hear your voices too. Okay, so Pastor Charles says that I'm a male. Yeah, I say Libo.
Yeah, I think I'm the phlegmatic type.
Flag,
temperament.
okay.
Yes, yes. Recently I realized I'm not interested in a lot of things. Just like sometimes I'll be there and somebody is searching something. I know that the thing is there. If the person doesn't ask me, I will just watch the person go over the whole place.
Yeah.
Then I really don't care about a lot of things. And sometimes when they say like I like to help people, but like I can be kind, but I really don't care about a lot of things. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And you like you for the sake of peace, sometimes if something is even wrong, you be like, let's leave it like that,
I forgot to tell you about that one. Even when you are asking me for something, I'll not even listen, then I'll just give it to you. Then after that, I'll just think about this guy. Why did I give him?
Okay.
Then it's sometimes funny.
Yeah. So mostly said that flex can be diplomats, so they can help nations come to agreement because their flags are very diplomatic, they are peace loving, they compromise a lot. Yeah, I think how I wanted to share. Please, yeah, go ahead.
No, please.
Okay.
My network was bad, so I left and came inside. I don't even know what you are.
Okay. So I think okay, that's fine. So any other person? So I think Selibo says that he's flag. And I think myself too, I am. Yeah, I'm a flag. That's interesting. Anyways, So let's get into purpose.
Hello.
Yeah, how are, yeah.
Can you have a mixture of both? Or
Yes, yes, you can. So we have primary temperament and then the secondary. So always one is dominant, but you might have other ones, you know, playing some role. So it's not like you're only just a choleric. You might be a choleric and a phleg, you know. So, but maybe the one that is very dominant is the choleric, and then the phleg is down there, you know. Sometimes it will show up, and sometimes, you know, yeah, with me like this, and sometimes you know, the choleric aspect of me really comes out, you know. So you might have one dominant and then one very not very dominant. So you can have two. Yeah. Any other question? So someone is saying that can temperament change with time? No, temperament does not change. Temperament is what we say biological. So it doesn't change. When you're born a choleric, you're born a choleric. The only thing that happens is, you know, when you get to understand, like what Selibo said, that, you know, as a phleg, you know, when something is falling, you can watch it for it to fall. So what you can do is you identify the weaknesses and you try to, you know, develop yourself to reduce that. Do you understand? But temperaments don't change. They are biological. What changes is personality. So, you know, we have personality today. You get to identify your personality. You know, the personalities are influenced by a lot of things, including some biological, some environmental, you know. So the place you are born in and how you are treated, you know, influences how you carry yourself and your personality. So with personality, it can change with time, depending on circumstances and all that. But when it comes to temperament, that is who you are. So you also have to understand your personality. You have to understand your purpose and vision. In our next, you know, next two slides, we'll go into much detail, so I might not talk much about it. So these are some things that I want you to write them down. You know, after this session, just ask yourself questions. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? You know, as I explained about, you know, the temperament, and maybe as I was saying, you go to see yourself in one of them. You can go back and read more about it and get to really understand and see if it truly defines you. You identify the weaknesses and then you see how to reduce, you know, those weaknesses. And you might realize that even some of the weaknesses that has to do with your temperament will show up in your general weaknesses. And you be like, oh, it's maybe I'm like this because of, you know, I'm timid and I'm not able to talk in public because probably I'm a phleg, or probably, you know, I'm a male, you know. Or you might identify that my strength because because I'm a sanguine, that's why I'm able to talk everywhere, you know. So if you're able to understand your temperament and you get to understand the, you know, the strengths and weaknesses of these temperaments, it will really help you. And then your purpose, version, personality. Now we are going to look at something, you know, something called the Johari window. Have any of you heard of this or seen it anywhere before? Have any of you heard of this or seen it anywhere? Have any of you heard of the Johari window or seen it anywhere? Or if you have, you can let me know. Oh, yeah, I have. Now, okay, Damson says now. Okay, so the Johari window is, you know, a concept or a framework or a model that helps you understand yourself. It helps you understand yourself. So you see that we have four, you know, panels or four segments. Four segments. We have the, you know, the open self, the blind self, the hidden self, and then the unknown self. And this is a window that helps you understand who you are. You know, you're talking about self-leadership. So today we are talking about you. If we're talking about, you know, servant leadership, transformational leadership, we'd have been talking about other stuff. But today is you. Because everything first starts with you. Even as a leader, it starts with you. If you're able to lead yourself well, you'll be able to lead a team and a group. So this window help you know yourself. So we have the open self. And when we come to the open self, it is when, something is known to you and known to others. That is what a known and open self. Everyone knows this about you. Everyone knows this about you. So it's not a secret, So let's say that, most people know I like food. So it is not a secret when we go for family reunion and all that, sometimes my wife will even bag them. And sometimes I'm not happy, but I can't say it, But everyone says that, hey, you like food. And sometimes even that conversation will start by my wife or with my wife. She will start that conversation. Everyone knows it. So that is an open self. Then we have the blind self. The blind self. So when we talk about the blind self, we are saying that this is that portion of you that others know that you don't know. There are some things people know about you that you don't know. So that is the blind self. Others in your office knows this about you, but you don't know. So, let me cite a typical example. The Christians, on the call, like when you read the Bible, it says that Jesus Christ once asked his disciples, what do men say about me? He wanted to know the blind side or his blind self. What are people perceiving about me? So somewhere like they said, you are Elijah, you are this, you are a prophet, you are this, you are that, you are that. That was his blind side. People had a lot of, people had noticed a lot of things about him, and they formed a whole lot of concepts about him that he didn't know. Or let's say he knew because he was God. But in this context, he asked because he didn't know, let's just put it in that context. So, to identify the blind self, which is yourself, you can ask people around you, and we are going to do this in this call, someone will be like, but we don't know each other. I'll show you how we'll go about it. And then we'll be able to identify some blind self, our blind self, it might not be holistic, but we'll be able to find out something. So how you can apply this is to ask people around you that, what do you know about me? How do you perceive me? Then you'll be shocked the things people will tell you. So maybe to you, so I'll come there to hidden self. To you, you'll be like, oh, I am kind. But maybe people around you will see you not to be kind. And that is a blind self that you have to identify by asking people around you, and then they will tell you. And then we have the hidden self. The hidden self is what is known to only you. So the secret that you have that you've not told anyone, that is the hidden self. Sometimes we are not even conscious about it. But you see, going through this training, you can begin to think about, okay, so what is my hidden self? Oh, I remember, I have this that even no one knows about me. So these things help you understand yourself. And then we have the unknown self. So this, window was developed by some two psychologists. The unknown self is that part of you that is not known to you and also not known to others. And these sometimes are potentials that will be on earth as you live. There are some people that really didn't even know they could sing. Other people didn't know they could sing. But probably some circumstance will pop up. And then by the time they realize, they become so good at singing, and they'll be like, wow, I didn't even know I could sing. So that is your unknown self. Any question on this before we get into the next segment? Any question? Any question on the Johari window about getting to know yourself.
Oh, please.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. I think someone unmuted. Okay, I don't know if anyone had a question, but I think no. So let's go ahead. So now these are, so one way that you can do, this Johari window is to come up with some adjectives. So if we were in, a typical, like if this was a company, then we'll just, pair two people because they know each other. Or if this was a group that people know each other, would have just paired them. You pick some adjectives, and you say, okay, use these adjectives to describe me. And we are going to do this now. So what we are going to do is that I'm going to break you guys into, breakout groups, 2, 2, 2. You have the first 5 minutes, just talk, try to know each other, just talk, try to know each other. So just have a conversation. Then after, you come up with some adjectives that describes you. Then also you come up with some adjectives that describes the other person you are engaging. I believe that, when you talk to someone, you get to see what is in an individual through what they say. Do you understand? So as they are talking, you get to know, you might be able to identify, okay, this person is that, this person is that, And so if you come up with an adjective, so for yourself, and then your party also comes up with an adjective for you, what you do is you compare the two adjectives. That, okay, the person says that you are observant. You also have there that you are observant. It means that falls under open self. You know it, the other person has been able to identify it. Then the other ones that the other party would mention, but you didn't write it down, you didn't write about yourself, falls under blind self. So it means that the other person has seen that part of, like, that self of you, but you can't see it. So that falls under what? Blind self. So these are some adjectives. We can have a look at it. We can take a screenshot. I'm going to break you guys into smaller groups. I just want you to have conversations, get to know each other. And then after, come up with some adjectives that describes yourself first. And then some adjectives that describes your other party. And then exchange and see if you get some common grounds and you get some new ones that the other person didn't write. Then that will fall in your what? Your blind self. When you go back to work, when you go back to church, when you go back to wherever you can engage people on some of these things, you really identify what? Your blind self. And this will help you understand how people are seeing you, how people perceive you, the kind of mindset people have towards you. Some people will tell you, oh, you are very kind. Meanwhile, you didn't even know you are kind. Okay. So yeah, so we are going into a breakout group. You are doing 4 things. Have tense conversation about yourself with your partner. So it's just going to be 2 people in a group. Write down adjective that describes you, and then write down adjective that describes your partner. So whilst you're engaging the person, just be identifying some, it should be just one word that describes them, like how I have here. The person is bold, the person is brave, the person is calm, caring, cheerful, giving, happy, just, logical. So you're like, oh, this person is very logical. Based on the conversation, this person is very logical. Oh, this person is matured. This person is religious, this person is proud, powerful. Then after exchange, and then get to see the common grounds and then the other ones that you never noticed. And I believe that this will also help us identify ourselves. I hope it's exciting. Okay, so click on join. You should be able to join in. Please take note of your partner. So as when you come back into the groups, I think I should be able to take a picture of this. Bye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So how was it? Was it interesting? Was it fun? Did you get to know of some open self, hidden self, blind self, and all that? So who would like to share? How was the experience first? Was it a good experience? And then were you guys, maybe the person you were paired with, were you guys able to, okay, so Damson says it was very fun, very interesting but short time. So we're able to identify some blind side, some, opened self and all that. So yeah, it's open. Let's share. Let's share. Let's share. So who would like to start? Who would like to start?
Please, Eunice would like to start. Please call
Eunice,
on
eh?
Eunice.
Okay, thanks, Kenneth. So Eunice, we are waiting for you. Eunice, are you there? Kenneth, it looks like Eunice is missing in action. Oh. So then maybe you can start.
Okay. Sir.
Yeah.
I was in a group with Eunice. I had the opportunity to meet her. I got to, we got into a conversation, and through the conversation, I got to know a little about her. And with what we were supposed to do in the breakout groups, analyzing and using the things she told me and what we had on the phone, I got to know she's very bold and confident. And she's secretive and somehow an introvert.
Okay.
Yes, and she's calm too. She's calm.
So was that something that she also knew, or you mentioned some things that she didn't even know,
Okay, it was with being an introvert, she admitted it. But with being confident and bold, she said she didn't really know, because on phone, sometimes, yes, she's able to communicate boldly, but then when she meets people in person, she is kind of shy and all that.
Okay. So you were able to identify some, blind side. I'm sure you were able to identify based on maybe how sure, sometimes you pick a lot of things from not just what they see, but how they say it, how they sound and all that, you get to understand certain, aspects of them.
Yes,
so
please,
I think that, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if she also said anything that was on your blind side that you didn't know, but she mentioned it.
Not really. Not anything on my blind side.
Okay, so everything she mentioned, you knew about it.
Yes.
Okay. So it means that I'll have to pay you two again another time. Because she could have come up with some, things on your blind side that you didn't know. And you see some of this thing, like you mentioning that she's bold, probably you could have asked her, okay, so has anyone told you this before? So that comes like in like confirmation, because if someone has said it before, and I'm also saying it, then it means that it's something that is about you that you are not saying, but we are saying. Do you understand? So if a couple of people have mentioned it, then, you'll be able to confirm that truly you are not the first person. Okay, thank you very much for sharing, Kenneth. One more person, and I think we are fast behind time. So one more person, then we get into how to lead yourself, That is where the meat is. So one more person to share. One more person. Hey, I saw a lot of people talking. So why are you not talking here? Are you shy? Selibu, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how did you go in your group?
Well, for my breakout session, I don't know if it was intentional or something like that. But it was actually a reunion rather than somebody that I'm supposed to. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually my course mate. We completed school together.
Okay.
And so it was just funny. Initially, when I saw it, I was like, no, not this lady. No, not. So I had full knowledge of whom I was talking to. And,
okay. And that
so
makes it quite simpler and easier.
I wouldn't say easier though, but at least I had something for knowledge. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
So she actually admitted, and we all know that she cares little about a lot of stuff. Like this lady that I'm talking about. Every time she's late in class, every time she's like even assignment, she knows she has to submit this time, but still she will be late. Juliet, if I say something wrong, just forgive me. Yeah, she's very careless. Sometimes I don't want to use sometimes, but let's say she's careless. She said she was shy, but to me she is not shy. The way this lady can make her walk-ins to the class. Yes, the way this lady can make walk-ins to the classroom. If she's shy, I won't believe, because the way she will catch walk and just. Well, for me, I know I'm shy, so anytime I walk to the class, I just run and find a seat. But she will relax and give all the walking that she can give her. Go and sit down. Okay, then I think.
And was she able to identify some blind sides of you?
Blind side of me. Well, she said initially she saw me to be a very shy guy, but later she taught me to be very very sanguine or something like that. But I think I'm still very shy. I don't really like coming out. Even she told me to come and talk to you guys here, because she felt I'll not do that. But right now I'm trying to improve on most of my weakness. That's why I'm very actively participating in this.
Sure.
Okay, I think I'll end it for you.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing, Selibo. Yeah, that's been interesting. But we can go out there to when we get to like home, when we get to work, we can just engage people and say, hey, let's take these adjectives and describe me, and also describe yourself, and then we'll compare notes and see, okay, this was common, so that becomes the open self. This wasn't common, so that becomes a blind self and all that. So you get to understand and see how people perceive you. And I believe that it will help you a lot, So it helps you as to how you live your life and all that. Great. So, okay, yes, Selibu, you have your hand up. Kindly go ahead and ask a question.
Sorry, I think it's a mistake. I don't have any question.
Okay, that's fine. So, yeah, we are going to see how we can lead ourselves. So I think the time is fast spent, but I'm going to touch on this. This is very key. So what to be done? So to lead yourself, what must you do to lead yourself? What must you do? You're supposed to identify your purpose. It always starts from there. Leading yourself, you're supposed to identify your purpose. Who are you? Who are you? Do you understand? Who are you? So let me set, a simple example like a car. The purpose of a car is to transport, you know, now that purpose can be to transport either human beings or transport cargo or goods. Do you understand? So yes, the purpose of a car is for transportation to either move human beings from here to there or move items from here to there. That is the purpose of the car. But you see, when you identify your purpose as an individual, now you would have to come up with a vision. What is to be achieved? You want to lead yourself, but it starts with knowing yourself. So this is who I am, like a car. You know, this is what I am. This, I can take human beings or I can pick items. That is who I am. So the next question is, okay, so what am I going to achieve? So if it's a car, you know, am I going to ply the Aflao road or the, you know, so let me come to a typical human being. So you get to know that, okay, my purpose is to help people. You identify that, you know, like I'm going to show you how you can identify this, who you are. So you get to identify your purpose. Then you come up with, okay, based on this, my purpose, what do I want to achieve? You know, we mentioned when we talked about leadership that there is a vision to be accomplished. And in this instance, you have a personal vision that you want to accomplish. But if you don't have a personal vision, you wouldn't be able to effectively lead yourself, the second quote, because you don't have any vision. So you see, if you pick two individuals who are coming from the same background, the same, you know, they grew up in the same environment, you give both of them 5 years, and then one will become something great, the other person will become nothing. It is all dependent on they identifying who they are and then coming up with a vision. An individual with a vision achieves a lot than someone without a vision. An individual who goes to school and says that I want to be the SLC president, even if they don't get to that level of being an SLC president, they'll get to that level that almost everyone on campus will know them. So if you have a vision, you achieve a lot in life than someone without a vision. But it always starts from who are you? Then when you identify a vision, you identify strategies to achieve this vision. So you identify, okay, who am I? Then what do I want to do? Then the thing is, how do I do it? So how do I achieve my vision? Then you come to implement whatever you come up with. So let's look at how we can do each and every one of this. So when it comes to purpose, you don't develop your purpose. You identify or you discover your purpose. Do you understand? You know, a car does not develop its purpose. No, it has to identify or discover because it is already there. It is already there. So you identify your purpose, you discover your purpose. You don't do what, like, you don't kind of like, okay, I want to develop my purpose as in me now, I want to come up with my own purpose. No. You know, as Miles Moreau will always say, the features of, you know, the item or the car, the individual would is in alignment with the purpose of the individual. So someone who asks, how do I identify my purpose or how do I discover it? You can discover this by asking questions. You know, we always say that the ideal is always go back to God. He created you. He made you. He knows why he brought you to this earth. I always tell people that no one is a mistake. As long as you're on earth, no matter how you came to this earth, whether your father married your mother or they didn't marry or whatever, as long as you are here, you are not a mistake. There is a specific purpose for you. So to identify your purpose, you can ask yourself, you can either go to God, which is the ideal, go to God, that God, show me my purpose. Or you can ask yourself some questions that will help you. So you can do the two. You can go to God and God will help you. Whilst you're asking the questions, He will guide you to answer these questions. And some of the questions you can ask yourself is, what do I enjoy doing most? Even if you're not paid, you do it. Even if you are not paid, you do it. There are some people, if even they are not paid, they can write. They can support, they support people, they can teach. What am I able to do easily? These things will help you identify who you are. And that is your purpose on earth. So if you can support people, so, when you ask yourself, I enjoy doing most, what I enjoy doing most is to support people. So then it brings the question, okay, so how can I support people? So that brings about the vision that, okay, I'm going to support people by developing an app that will make it easier for people to travel from one place to another. That is a vision. But you enjoy doing or accomplishing that vision because it's embedded in your purpose. That my purpose is to support people. So then you look at ways that you can support people. My purpose is to teach. So then you identify, okay, what are the ways? Should I go and teach in a company, like as a trainer? Should I go and teach in the classroom? Should I teach at church? Should I teach here? Should I teach there? Should I teach on social media? So that if you identify your purpose, then you develop a vision for it. That, okay, with my purpose, what can I do with it? Because you see, a car that has a purpose of transporting cargo can decide to transport cargo from Ghana to Burkina. That is a vision. That is different from the same car that can carry cargo can decide to fly, Accra, Aflao. So you first need to identify the purpose, then you develop a vision. A vision has timelines. So with that same purpose, you can have a couple of visions that you want to accomplish, all behind the back of who you are and what you enjoy doing most. And mostly your purpose is something you would do even if you are not paid. So you develop a vision with by applying SMART. And when we say SMART, you will come up with a vision that is specific. So, I enjoy teaching. I enjoy writing. So I'm going to write, for organizations. I'm going to write, like every week, I'll write something very knowledgeable or reasonable, very logical for people to read. As long as you enjoy doing it. And it easily comes to you. You can decide that, okay, I'm going to write on this topic every week. I'm going to write on that. That is a vision. Putting your purpose to use in a strategic way. So you apply SMART by identifying some key thing you want to do, very specific. Then you ask yourself, how would I measure this? So every week, I am going to write one. So let's say you want to write about leadership. So you say that every week I'm going to write something on leadership. And I'll post it everywhere. Now, I once thought about vocation and avocation. So, when you come up with this vision, in the short term, it might bring money. In the short term, it might not bring money, depending on what you want to achieve. So as I talked about support, so, you say, I like to support people. So you come up, okay, I'm going to develop, an app that would support people in this way. That can bring money, that cannot bring, like it might be that it wouldn't bring money, but at least there is a vision. There is something you want to accomplish. It should be something that can be attainable. So you shouldn't just come up with a vision that cannot be achieved. It should be attainable. It should be something that can be achieved. And then this vision should be relevant to your purpose. It should be relevant to your purpose. And then it should be time bound that, okay, in the next 5 years, I want to support people in this area because that is my purpose. I want to teach in this area because that is my purpose. I want to do this because that is my purpose. And this is the vision. So I want to do this. It is time bound. Then after you have identified the specific thing you want to do, so let's say that because I love teaching and I love to help people, in the next 5 years, I want to help people in the area of leadership. So every month I'm going to train on leadership. That is a clear vision, very specific. It is measurable. How am I going to measure it? I said I'm going to train, once a month. So if I train in a month, I'm able to measure I did it. If I don't train, I'm able to measure I didn't do it. Is it attainable? Is 1 attainable? Yes. Is 30 attainable? No. So it means every day I'm going to train. It's going to be tedious. It's going to be a lot of work. You might lose out. But if it's okay, every week I'm going to train once, yes, that one too is attainable. Is it relevant? Yes, it is relevant because that is my, with my purpose. My purpose is to support people through, teaching and developing people. So yes, teaching on leadership is relevant. Is it time bound? Yes, because I said I'm going to do this for the next 5 years. So now after I've come up with this, the next thing is, I have to identify how I would be able to achieve this vision. So how would it be how would it be possible for me to come up and get people to sign on to my leadership trainings? How am I going to do it? So I need to, begin to think applying MISI or SIMI. So I come up with, divergent or convergent, ideas by thinking like that, trying to think wide, innovatively. That, okay, what are some of the innovative ideas that comes to mind? What are some of the, the one solution or, compressing them and all that. So you come up with some options, alternatives, some strategy that would help you achieve the vision. You have a vision. I want to train people, or I want to write for companies. That is what I want to do. Or, it can even be like, I want to read 5 books every year. You are leading yourself. I want to read 5 books every year. It's very specific. It's very measurable. So, the vision can change each and every time. So you can say, okay, my support and my purpose is to support people. So in the next 5 years, I'm going to commit myself to development. So in the next 5 years, my vision is to read 7 books on leadership. That is a vision. That is what is to be achieved. How am I going to achieve it? Okay, so that comes with strategy. Okay, it means that maybe every time before I go to bed, I would read, a chapter, or whilst I am in a bus, these are strategies, these are things you are thinking about. Okay, how am I going to achieve this? So, okay, I'm going to read, whilst I'm eating, I'll be reading, whilst I'm doing this, I'll be doing, so you come up with what? Ideas. You just think, using MISI, you don't close your minds on just one thing, but you think openly and come up with things that can help you. Then you see the workable ones. Then the next thing is implementing it. And this has to do with discipline. So after you have, you have identified your purpose, you have developed your vision, you have identified some alternatives or some strategies you can adopt. The next thing is to discipline yourself to implement these strategies. Discipline. So you commit and you focus on your plans. The plans that you came up with at the strategy level. You discipline yourself and you focus on it. A lot of people are not able to achieve a lot of things as individuals because they lack discipline. They are not able to commit to it. It is very painful, committing to things. But you need to what? Commit, and then you need to focus, you need to discipline yourself. So you see that, my vision is, my purpose is to help and support people. and to fulfill this purpose, or to visualize, or to make this purpose a reality, I think that I want to first develop myself. That's a vision for 5 years. I'm going to read this. Okay, I'm going to read the book each and every day. Every day I read a chapter. Maybe I read it doing before I sleep, or when I wake up, before I bath, I'll read it. Those are the strategies. Now, to implement, you have to discipline yourself, that because you said you're going to read it before you sleep, you read, you discipline yourself. So if you are able to discipline yourself to implement the strategies, then you will see results. And that is where leading yourself starts. So you're able to lead yourself, you're able to discipline yourself to do what has to be done. So if you're able to do this, then if there is, a group of people that you are leading, because you yourself, you are disciplined, and you're able to discipline yourself, you'll be able to also rally your team behind you to be able to achieve what? A shared goal. And I call this the ID model. And this model was developed by me, the ID model, where you are able to identify a purpose, you develop a vision that connects to the purpose. Vision is not static. Vision keeps changing. Even so, organizations change their vision. After you've achieved whatever you have there as your vision, you come up with a new vision. So you develop your vision. So that's why we develop it. It's not like it's hidden somewhere that is covered. No, you develop it, you achieve it, you develop a new one. Then you identify strategies. There are a lot of strategies. You identify the strategies. Then you discipline yourself to achieve what? The desired version that you want accomplished. Any question on this? Any question? Any question? Does anyone have any question to ask? Okay. So if there are no questions, then I think we have exceeded our time. I'm so sorry, by 16 minutes. We have exceeded our time by 16 minutes. I'm so sorry. It is open for questions in the next 2 minutes if you need any clarification. But was what I shared, is it very clear? Is it very, very clear? Did you understand it? Kenneth, you unmuted yourself, but you didn't say anything. Or is it that it's from my side? I can't hear anything. Can anyone hear me though?
I can hear you, Joshua.
Okay. Yeah, okay, great. So was it very clear? Did you guys get? Okay, great. So that is where leading yourself starts from. Identifying your purpose by asking questions. What am I able to do easily? What would I do even if I'm not paid? So that is your purpose. I would do this if I'm not paid. I would do that if I'm not paid. I enjoy doing it. Like, I wish I could do it the rest of my life. That is your purpose. Then you come up with a vision. It's very specific. Okay, with this purpose that I enjoy, maybe I enjoy teaching kids. So let's say in the next 1 year, I want to teach this category of children, or I want to teach them, this children in my house here, wherever, on this subject, or on that, on this, on that, you come up with a clear vision. Then after you've come up with that clear vision, you come up with a strategy as to how this can be achieved. So how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And then after you discipline yourself and you focus and you commit to the plan that I said I'm going to do this, so surely I will do it. In the beginning, it might not be very comfortable, but as you commit to it and you focus, you see that there'll be a lot of benefits There'll be a lot of benefits. And then people begin to see a lot of changes about you, because they'll see that you live a very focused life. You live a very purposeful life. You live a very, your life is very organized because you know what you are doing. You know how you are doing it, and you're committed to doing it. So people will see him like, wow, it looks like you are different. It looks like you are different. Most people are living on earth one, they don't even know their purpose. A lot of people don't even have a vision. You ask people, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? They can't tell you anything. They will now be thinking. If someone asks you a question and you're not able to answer within split seconds, it means that there's an issue. It means that in life, you might not get anywhere. But if someone asks you, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, where do you see yourself? And you're able to answer quickly. It means that you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, you have a clear plan, and you're on course. So, on this call, after this call, spend some time, ask yourself questions, come up with your purpose, come up with a vision, come up with strategies that you can, use to, achieve this vision, and then commit to it. You can have accountability partners and say that, hey, I have told myself I'm going to do this. Please hold me accountable if I don't do it. And then you begin to shape your life. And it will shock you that you'll be able to achieve a lot in life. Because, whenever you wake up in the morning, hey, there is something to be done. But a lot of people wake up in the morning and they are not even trying to figure out what is to be done. So there's no vision, there is nothing. So by the time you realize, hey, it is 8 o'clock. Wow, the time went so fast. It never went fast. People had a lot to do, which they had more time. So, come up with a vision that is connected to your purpose, commit to it, and it will shock you the things you will do. Okay, great. So any questions from you guys on anything that has been shared? I'm open to questions. Any comments? Has this been very helpful? Alexandra says, thank you so much. Say, okay, you're welcome, Alexandra. Okay. Thanks for letting me know, Alexandra. She said it's been very, very helpful. So if there are no questions, no input, then I'm just going to share this brief kind of, I don't know if it's an announcement, and then we can all go off. So I'll be sending you guys, I'll be posting on the page, our evaluation. So let's have a great, yeah, Damson, you have a question. Please go ahead.
So I want to know if we are going to maintain our group and wait for the next month's training, or is it going to be dissolved?
Yeah, good question. So as I mentioned earlier on, when it comes next month, we'll be running trainings, and so some of them, might not be like things that we've done already. So I think that it's great to have all of you on that platform. So as when we have new trainings, we can share with you. And when, sometimes we can just open it up. Maybe you have a question. It's not going to be open for anything. Like people can just post adverts and post whatever they want to post. No. So maybe you have a question, a leadership question. You have a question on soft skills. You encountered some problem. You try solving it, but you were not able to properly, utilize the tools and the skills. You can share the other people will share their ideas as to, okay, you could have done it this way. I think that we can build a network where people can share, we can learn from others, like we can hold each other accountable. And who knows, maybe even someone can come up with a business idea, other people can rally behind, So it's kind of like a professional platform, not, now WhatsApp has done so well. Admins can even delete chats. So I think that's helpful. If anyone posts anything that is not supposed to be there, we will just delete it. And if possible, take the person out. So yes, so we are going to maintain the page. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then I'll say that thank you all very much for coming on to this call. I would admonish all of us to, go out there and really practice and utilize all the things that we have learned. If you think that you need more clarification on anything, you want anything, just reach out to me. I've shared my contacts in the chat. You can WhatsApp me, or I prefer WhatsApp most of the times. So you can WhatsApp me and then I'll respond to it. So thank you all. Enjoy your weekend and have a great day today too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.